Um, you and I have been talking this morning about the crystal ball, which is, the certification industry at the moment is a guy calls a client, he kisses his family goodbye, gets on an aeroplane, or a lady or a guy, flies to another country, spends a week there. It's all about getting to know each other. It's fancy lunches, the factory gets cleaned up, and one of my guys goes through the factory and does an assessment. And I'm going to call bullshit. We know what goes on, and you've got to sort your way through that through being an attractive, positive, interesting person. Because if you're just going to be the brown cardigan assessor that goes on site, shit's going to get hidden from you. You're really not going to be able to actually help the client grow, because they tidy up and clean everything up before the assessment. And I would argue there's no point, because you're getting the bit of paper for ISO 9001. You're not actually using and leveraging that process for its benefits. So what Keith and I have been talking about this morning is looking into the crystal ball. The market is deciding. Your customers and the market are deciding. So what, the integration between, or the collaboration with Keith and myself is looking at what are the opportunities for us to help more organisations globally. And there are a lot of organisations that want our help, but haven't got the resources to fly us, to pay for the airlines and flights and travel costs and all that sort of stuff, which are the traditional costs associated with the industry. So what we're talking about is how can we actually be serving those customers who want to work with our organisations in a virtual space, and the crystal ball of the assessment industry. What Keith's talking about is the gold mine of the huge data set, but what I'm talking about is each of those individual organisations that's desperate for assistance, but they're based on wherever, they could be 2-hour drive from this office, or they could be a 5-hour flight from this office.
And two, you don't want to be, if you're a business, you don't want to be paying for travel time and travel expenses. You really want to invest that money, if you're genuinely going to prove your business, into the real aspects of quality, of getting good advice, if you like, and guidance on that sort of basis. And for those genuine players, it is much better to actually start to use some of these virtual technologies to collapse time cost. You can, vast distance, the United States, Australia, you can have a 5-hour flight. You could be spending that 5 hours actually examining the company and aspects of doing that, or helping another customer, if you like. Right. And then you've got an overnight, which is another 8 to 10 hours or something like that. And more and more we're understanding that, for instance, as you say, you could phone them up on any day when they're not prepared, any day of the week or something, or on a continuous basis, and arm the person. They were already available, digital cameras, and say, hey, this morning, hey, let's go and have a tour of your production plant, or something like that. Yep. They're not dressing it up. It's just an everyday life of it. Right. And then you can say, zoom down. Let's have a look at that that particular machine and the practices of that particular person. And you could be sitting using experts in different geographical locations, because they're experts in your industry. You don't have to rely on the local closest assessor. You can start to draw on the best in the business, no matter where they are, other side of the world or whatever it is, to actually look at what you're doing and advise you through these channels. And I think that when we get into this, we'll start to find that we're producing better results at no cost. Absolutely. And actually transferring knowledge better too, in that way. Yeah. So that's the interesting new phase of this, of where the technology's coming together, the systems are coming together.
We're inspiring and influencing people in this virtual world of social media, and that's what we do here at Best Practice. But so what Keith and I have been talking about this morning is, how do we actually execute? So how do we take you guys, you can pick up as much as you want from the YouTube channel, but how do we actually take you guys into the virtual world of the business advice? So digging deeper. Yeah, you can watch the videos, you can do the online training, but how do we get into the blockchain version of what we're talking about here? So at the moment it's all one way. So it's from us to you via YouTube, and it's one way. But how do we actually take that back and in real time, in real time answer that?
Another issue, the customers are faced with having to do multiple different assessments. And that's another area where digital technologies can help a lot. So
they're getting audit fatigue.
Yeah, audit fatigue. You've got to do security, and you've got to do data security and workplace safety and quality management. But actually, as a business person, you'd like to be doing all of that and knowing it, but you'd really like to be moving into business excellence. And there's another sort of model on that sort of basis. Now, it's possible these days to integrate all of that. So if you were to get an assessor coming in that's well trained, that's able to take you through all of those things without repeating any of the questions, so that you actually get the quality, you get the environmental and the safety or sorted out. But because they spent a lot of time understanding your business, they could then move beyond just giving you a tick box. Yes, you get a compliance certificate, but perhaps giving some quality data and knowledge and feedback, sort of moving into the continuous improvement side, sort of moving from compliance to better business is an essential, I think, of the industry. Customers are looking for that additional value. The compliance side has been commoditized to a certain extent as well. To really deliver the value, you've got to actually use the tools and the transfer of knowledge, as well as have the ability to move from tick boxes to and then of course you can put in dashboards and monitoring and evaluation technologies, so that you can track change, see what's happening, track your action planning side of things as well.